I'm a senior software engineer at a company called KnowBe4 that's across the bay in Clearwater, Florida. I'm a full stack engineer, but these days I spend most of my time on the front end. I've been using Vue since 1.01 days. I can't exactly remember when. A longtime fan. At KnowBe4 we do security awareness training, and we currently have 5+ products running Vue.js. Also, some of my coworkers and I are organizers of the newly created Tampa Bay meetup for Vue.js, which has 33 members, I think, of us today, so it's pretty good considering it was just started Friday. We haven't met yet. Also in my free time, I enjoy getting yelled at by teenagers on Overwatch. All right. So this pretty much sums up how we brought Vue to a legacy app at where I work. So when I first started there a couple years ago, I asked if there's any possibility of migrating to a SPA type app, and they said no, not really. So I kind of just snuck it in. Let's look at that a little bit. This is one of the things I loved about Vue from the start, is its kind of backwards compatibility mindset. This is just a 20 kilobyte gzip minified file. It's compatible, I think, with IE9 at the time. I'm not sure that's still true. And it just lets you get started without a build system or any tooling or anything like that. You can drop it into existing views in your app without having a radical change, which basically, if I could not have done, I would have never had a chance of introducing Vue to our architecture. This is some interesting kind of tidbits about template options. Actually, when I started using Vue, I had one coworker who had a very strong opinion that I could not have template in my JavaScript files. We used Rails and it used ERB, server-rendered views, and that was the rules. We had to have template language in those ERB files. And Vue actually had some options that allowed me to work within those restrictions, which was inline templating and X templates. And I could write this directly in my HTML in a way that still made me feel like I could use components in Vue in a kind of cool way without, restricting me, totally to an old school jQuery approach. Now, given those are not necessarily recommended methods, but they're useful nonetheless. Getting to kind of the title, piecemeal. I think this is another thing that was instrumental in us adopting views. We just started out with a single Vue instance and one page. And, before I knew it, we started writing components. Then we needed to bring in the Vue router to switch between those components. Pretty soon thereafter, we needed to manage our states. So we brought in Vuex. And eventually, we were using Webpack to manage all of that. So, it was a step-by-step conversion. And we're still in the process of that, hopefully the end goal being that we totally decouple the front end from the back end. So now I'll just give a little bit of a demonstration. I have no idea how I'm doing on time, so somebody shout at me if I've gone over. I can't actually find my mouse. Here it is. All right, so this is a typical kind of Rails ERB server-rendered view. It uses Ruby to kind of iterate over something. This is what I'm calling my sushi app. It's a bit contrived. Yeah, sorry. All right, now I can't see it, but you can. So this is basically what I want to replace with a Vue app, and it's something that looks like if I can find my browser. Yeah, sorry for calling that a legacy app. It is the most recent version of Rails, so. So it's my sushi app right here. We can look at all the types of sushis there. So I just want to switch that over so it's managed by client side code. And so really quickly, for the sake of time and because I can't really see my screen from my computer, I'm just going to cheat and go to step 2 of this. Yes, sorry. Best commit message ever. And step 2 would look something like this. Of course, you wouldn't want to drop your Vue instance probably inline like this. I've just done this for the purposes of demonstrating it quickly. But you can see that the Vue code looks a lot like the ERB code, actually, but now we're using JavaScript. And if I switch back to my browser, it runs exactly the same. If I can get my mouse to behave. Or not. Sorry. Yeah, something's going wrong. I'd like to blame the Wi-Fi, but unfortunately I don't think that's the problem. I did try this just a minute before and it worked, but in the interest of time, you're going to have to take my word for it that it worked a minute ago. Thank you.